Have you ever felt like someone gave you everything they had and you only realized it when it was too late? It's strange how we get attached to characters who aren't even made of flesh and bone, but there's something in them that feels more real than 20 of actual human beings we've crossed paths with. Dobby is one of those, that tiny creature with enormous ears and wide eyes who stumbled into our lives, nearly destroying everything he touched. And yet, we couldn't stop loving him. Think about it. When you first met Dobby, what did you feel? Probably a mix of confusion and something like, wow, what a weird little thing. He showed up, dropping cakes, blocking letters, pulling pranks. He was inconvenient, irritating, almost a problem. But there was something in those huge green eyes screaming something most people never managed to say out loud. I genuinely care about you. And then we started to understand, slowly, that Dobby wasn't strange because he lacked love. He was strange because he had so much of it, he didn't know how to hold it in. He spent his entire life obeying, serving, being punished for every independent thought he dared to have. The house elf's magic was used as a chain, and he carried that weight as if it were normal, as if there were no other way to exist. How many people do you know who live like that? I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about people trapped in situations, in relationships, in versions of themselves they never chose, but who learned to obey because that's what the world taught them. Dobby broke that cycle when he received the sock, a ridiculous, dirty object with no value to most people. But to him, it was everything. It was proof that he had worth, that he existed outside of servitude. And from that moment on, he was no longer a house elf. He was a free being who chose who he gave his loyalty to, and he chose Harry. Not out of obligation, not out of fear, out of love. Then comes that scene. You know the one. Shell Cottage, the knife, the throw into the darkness. Dobby using every bit of strength he had, that frantic, imperfect, chaotic magic to save the people he loved. And when he arrives on the other side, he looks down, sees what happened, and still, with everything going on, with life literally slipping through his fingers, he looks up at Harry and says, "It's a beautiful place." You know what truly breaks in that moment? It's not the death, it's the peace. Dobby didn't die in despair. He died whole, free, with the name of the person he loved most on his lips, and sand between his fingers. Sand, not chains. Harry dug that grave with his bare hands. No magic, just effort, pain, and tears he couldn't hold back. And he wrote, "Here lies Dobby, a free elf. Free." That word hits differently once you've lived his full story. Because freedom for Dobby wasn't the absence of love. It was being able to love without the fear of being destroyed for it. We don't cry for Dobby because he died. We cry because he lived in a way that most of us are too afraid to try. And that's the question that stays with you long after the credits roll. If you knew you only had one moment to act for what you truly love, would you have the courage that Dobby had?